All right, and welcome back to another episode of Raul's World of Synths. I am Raul. This time around, we're going to be looking at the Doepfer A143-9 and doing an audio demonstration. This will be the second audio demonstration we're doing for this module, and it'll actually be the last segment in the Quadrature LFO series. In the last two, we kind of looked at basics in the first one, and then we did a little bit of an audio demonstration. In the last one, talked about constructive and destructive interference. So if you have any questions about that, watch one or more of the last two videos. But in this one, I thought we'd do something a little bit different, kind of utilize all four of the outputs over here on our A143-9 Quadrature LFO. We're going to kind of integrate it in a very interesting way, utilizing the A135-1 right over here. It's a quad fold VCA right here. So we're going to be taking the outputs from this module and feeding them into the CV inputs over here on the right hand side. I'm not going to go into too much detail on this specific module over here. It can be utilized in a lot of different ways for a lot of different things. I'm going to save that for a future video. As a matter of fact, it's going to be the series following this one. So won't be too much longer before you get all your questions answered about that one yet. But without further ado, let's just kind of jump right into the last segment here and get some patching going on. So if you look down at the bottom, you can see a little bit of oscillators down there. We have an A110 and an A111. We're going to be using these in conjunction with the A135 up here to get some signals patched into this. And then the A143 is going to handle the modulation role in this patch and move those signals around a little bit. So let's go ahead and start the patching. Let's get our A135 sort of in position here. I'm going to bring the gain dials all the way down over here. And then we're going to bring our VCOs in. So let's start by, let's kind of get the A110. And we'll get some smooth VCOs from this one. So we'll take a triangle out over here and then go up into the A135. Let's actually use these in input number 3 over here. And then we'll take the sine wave out from that one. And then we'll go over into input number 4. And let's get the input signals over here about the same. And there we go. And we'll kind of adjust them here in a little bit as well. Let's go over to the A111. I have a cable already kind of set up right there. So we're going to take the pulse out of the A111 and go up into number 2, right up there, of our A135. And let me get one more cable. Let's see, do I have another cable that equivalent? Let's see. I believe I do. So we're going to take the saw from the A111. Going to go up into the A135, channel 1 this time. Bring my signal down a little bit, maybe about to 4. There we go. So we basically have 4 different waveforms going into the inputs over here. Our gain is all the way down because we're not actually sending any modulation yet. But if I bring one of these gains up, you can hear some signal. So you can hear our individual waveforms right there. Now let's go ahead and get our modulation set up. I'm not going to use audio rate modulation on my quadrature. I'm going to actually use low frequency modulation. I'm going to actually bring this all the way to the bottom. There we go. And you can see the LED is kind of indicating the frequency at which it's going. And so I'm going to take the baseline or the 0 degree sine and I'm going to patch it into input number 1 over here for my CV, and we should hear something. There we go. now I'm going to bring over the 90-degree cosine, and I'm going to patch it into input number 2. We can hear that one. Seems a little more muted, so let me get my mix level up a little bit. And I may actually need to bring the signal down to this. Bring this up a little. Because ultimately I want to be able to hear all of them. Okay. Now let's take the 180-degree sine and go over into number 3. Okay, so far so good. Now let's take our 270-degree cosine over into input 4. That one's a little bit difficult to hear, so let's bring our signals down a little bit. May need to work with these first. Let's bring this all the way down. That one's just very quiet, so let's see if we can get signal going over there. Get a good level there. That's all the way patched in. There we go. Okay, let's work from there. So let's bring this one up a little. And then bring this up. Okay. So now we have the 4 sine waves from the A143-9 Quadrature LFO sort of operating at different degrees on the different inputs over here. And that's kind of a product of what we hear over there. So this is our sum output down at the bottom, where we're hearing all 4 of these being combined. Okay. Now, let's add a little bit of interest to this, because I actually I like this effect, but I would like it a little bit slower. So I'm going to use my A183-2 over here to kind of get that going just a little bit slower. So what I need to do is get my CV number 2 down, all the way down there. And if you know anything about the A183-2, you'll know that with nothing plugged into the inputs over here, you actually get a DC offset coming out from over here. So I'm going to take the output right here, and I'm going to feed it right into the input, CV number 2, and watch what happens. Nothing yet, but let me bring my offset up. You can hear it slowing down a little bit. Now I'm only doing this because I wanted to be able to hear maybe closer, or at least a little bit closer, the 4 different waveforms, maybe a little more distinctly. There we go. And I'm going to actually do one more thing. I'm going to bring the gain of this one up a little bit. This is just for a little variety here, just to get a little bit better of an effect. And I'm just going to tailor this a little bit until I'm happy with it. And there we are. So as you can see, this kind of allows you to get a very special effect utilizing all 4 outputs from the Quadrature LFO. Now, in the next segment that we have coming up, we're going to talk a little bit about basics of this module, because it's very obvious that you can get some very interesting things from this, including sort of a quadraphonic, which is going to be in one of the second probably audio demonstrations of the A135-1 over here. And we're going to utilize the A143-9 a little bit later in conjunction with this to kind of create a quadrature audio demonstration, or quadraphonic audio demonstration. So I hate to kind of leave it a little bit of a tease for now, but hopefully down the road you'll have the patience to stay and sort of keep watching the show for at least a few weeks to kind of keep in touch with this demonstration. I hope that you found this particular demo a little bit useful. I found this kind of trick over here with the offset kind of really interesting to allow me to slow this LFO down. So pretty interesting little trick there I discovered. But at any rate, hope that you found this series as a whole useful, and that you'll keep on watching out there. I want to thank you for watching this specific segment and hope that you stay tuned. So keep on patching out there.